Welcome back to my fall series. In this week's video, I am going to share some clever tips with you guys on how to save money on your housing. I'm Sammy Womack from A Sunny Side Up Life. If you enjoy this week's video, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and leave me a comment below. All right, let's jump into it. And some creative ways and I'm sharing lots of creative ways for and I want to First of all, I want to mention one of my most popular videos of all time is the video about why we sold our house to become debt-free. In this video, I basically break down the whole reason why we put our gorgeous 3,200 square foot house up for sale and start renting. And we are currently in a tiny 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom, about 650 square foot rent house. We have been in this rent house for a little over 3 years, and it'll probably be closer to 4 years by the time we move out. But basically, we decided to live well below our means for a short period of time because we know in long term where we want to be in 10 or 20 years, and we knew that this sacrifice was worth it. I go into all of that in that old video. I'm going to link to it in the description. It is a must watch. So my first tip really is consider moving to maybe the older side of town where things are cheaper, or moving outside of the city limits where your property taxes will be cheaper, or moving out of a subdivision that has HOA fees. Also remember that when you are considering moving, how much farther is your commute going to be, and how much farther is that going to bump your gas bill up? So figure that into the pros and cons as well. For us, we downsized, like not only cut back on our square footage, but also cut back on our belongings, obviously, but we were able to sell so much stuff because we downsized. And now not only is our rent significantly cheaper, right around third maybe of what our mortgage and our taxes and our insurance and all of that used to be, but also our electric bill is so much cheaper because we aren't heating, cooling, and fueling the lights in 3,000 square feet. Make sure to do that math, run your numbers, list out the pros and cons. Next is to get over what people think. I know for us this was huge. Our house was something that we carried so much pride in. It was gorgeous, it was beautiful, and it made us feel like we were doing something right, like we were successful because of this beautiful house. But the reality was that we couldn't really afford it. Classic Daniel and Sammy. So we definitely had to learn the hard way that it doesn't really matter what other people think or if other people are impressed by your house. What really matters is if you can legitimately afford it and if it lines up with your long-term goals. So when we moved into this tiny house, we moved to not an unsafe neighborhood, but definitely an older neighborhood. We literally live right behind a restaurant, so we don't like have a great view or anything like that. Our house was probably built in like the 40s or 50s, and it shows. And there's so many amenities that we decided we could live without. For example, we don't have central air and heat. We don't have a dishwasher. Our laundry room is out in our carport. Lots of things like that that we decided were luxury items, and we decided that we could live below our means if we lived here and made those sacrifices. So we had to get over the fact that when people come over, they might think less of where we live. And honestly, we don't care now. So next, I think, is realizing that you really don't need as much stuff or as much space as you actually think you do. We thought since we had 3 kids, we needed 5 bedrooms and we needed a massive living room, and we don't. My kids are perfectly fine, all 3 sharing a room. I literally have my little office corner set up here in our bedroom, and guess what? We're fine. And I bet that if you challenge yourself you would find the same to be true. Now let's talk about RV living or van living. This might be a stretch for some people, but while we were building our house for like 3 to 6 months, we plan to live in our RV so we don't have to pay rent here while we are paying for our construction loan and everything that's going to be going on at our future house. Some other things you can consider is getting a roommate. You can have a much nicer apartment or a much nicer house if you sub-rent one of the rooms. And for someone like me who has never had a roommate, but I have lived with all of my siblings and my husband's brother, I would much rather live with a family member than a stranger. So my next idea, living with family. I know so many people that do this to save money, whether you live with your parents or your parents live with you, or you live with a sibling, that could be a solution for you as well. Or if you own your house, maybe you have a garage apartment, a pool house, an extra bedroom, or maybe you even have a vacation house, depending on where you are in your journey, and you can consider renting that out full time, using it as an Airbnb. There's so many creative things that you can do. So basically, I just want you guys to think outside the box, get creative, do the math, run the numbers, do the pro and con list, and figure out how you can get creative and save some money on your housing. I hope that this video was helpful to you. Don't forget to like, share, and comment, as well as subscribe to my channel. I appreciate you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys next week. Bye, guys.